next guest is looking at us with a little bit of despair, maybe some wonder, perhaps some curiosity. From the Gilmore Girls with Lauren Graham and Alexis Bledel to Rosanne, all of those Golden Girls.
Wow.
Our next guest has had intimate relationships with some of the most remarkable women on television.
Now he is spilling all his secrets in his book. It's called The Girls, From Golden to Gilmore, stories about all the wonderful women I've worked with. Please welcome the person behind these iconic females, writer-producer Stan Zimmerman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. You need to be on the reboot, if there is one, of Golden Girls, where you talk so fast. We don't have to feed you any coffee. You would be perfect. Let's get you to Stars Hollow, you and Lauren Graham. Come on.
Do it.
You ready?
I'm her manager.
Where's our agent?
No, both
it's
of you.
both of us, honey.
We're both invited.
It's the two of you. It's the two
We're
of you.
getting our own show.
Okay, yeah, there you go. And then we'll spin you off. Yes, there you go. See how my mind works?
Oh my God. Stan, how are you?
I am great. I love to be back to New York. I went to NYU to be an actor, and
here we
then
are.
I met my writing partner, Jim Berg, and then we decided
Oh my gosh.
we were sick of being poor in New York and moved to LA, and then we were poor in LA and went to all the free tapings because that's all we could afford, and we started writing for different TV shows, and luckily started getting hired.
But some TV, some of
TV.
the
A few little
biggest
TV shows.
television shows under your belt, sir.
Yes. Where did we
Obviously,
begin?
yeah. Let's start with Golden Girls.
Okay, yes.
Spill everything. What are we
Well,
going
it
to
was
learn
my
in this book?
first really big job. So imagine as a young kid,
There you
I
go.
like to say it was a junior high project to keep the age down.
You haven't aged a second.
But it was very scary to be there. Imagine growing up watching the Mary Tyler Moore Show and Maude and all those shows, and then suddenly I'm on set and they're saying my words. And it was a kind of an out-of-body experience. But at the time, I'm so glad, because I'm from the Midwest, from the Detroit area, a suburb of Detroit. I had very good grounding. And so I took the moment to really appreciate I'm here, I'm lucky to be here. I was kind of the first of my group to have like a real job.
Wow.
And that job.
And
Yeah,
that job.
That job that still lives on.
The
in it.
author, Betty White, Rue McClanahan, Estelle Getty.
My Estelle.
You're
We got very
Estelle.
close.
Is
And
that right?
so we became friends on and off the set. And so losing her, especially to dementia, was just so
Remind
sad.
folks at home, she played
Sophia.
Sophia.
Yeah,
Right.
so-
My mom's favorite character.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I got to see her in Torch Song Trilogy 2 years before getting the job on the show. So you get old and you start having these full circle moments
Right.
with a lot of these actors.
And now you mentioned that you having the grounding, you really were able to take it all in and appreciate it. And realize what an honor it was. So to that, I ask you, I mean, because it was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Yes, which I love because I come from a theater background. So to hear the laughter
That was
of-
my question. Like, did you also bask and bathe in that?
Of course.
Because, oh
I mean,
my
they were
God.
saying my lines, and then these people are laughing. But I was on season 1, so you have to remember back then, nobody thought this show would be a hit. I mean, the idea in town in Hollywood was like, why would people watch 4 older women talk about sex
Ha, ha,
and
ha.
everything else?
And everything else.
And we had the last laugh. We're
Yes.
still talking about it today.
Exactly.
But to be in that audience and to hear the laughter, and so we would call a laugh spread. Every week as people became more aware of the show and the show got on the air, the laugh spread kept getting bigger and bigger.
a laugh
So we had
spread.
to cut. You guys have a lot of laugh spread, I can tell.
Oh, shoot,
there you
okay.
go.
It's crickets in here on a good day.
So then we had to cut the scripts down because people would just come in and laugh. You know, you look at B. Arthur's face.
Of course.
And after Betty White says something dumb, that's 5 minutes of laughter
How
right
much
there.
of it was ad-libbed?
None.
None?
Okay, don't get me started on that. So I go on the Facebook groups, and they're all like, oh, those actors are so good, they're ad-libbing. And I chime in, I wrote those words.
It's
I
me.
wrote the pauses. Or the whole staff, the writing staff. We had a great writing staff.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a hug when we're done with this because we have more questions.
We-
so they
okay.
were all.
We'll go for a
I
drink
thought
after,
for
yeah.
sure there was some.
No, that's a testament to the actors, that they were so good that it seemed natural, but it was
I
all
think it was the
scripted.
perfect storm.
That's
It
right.
was the
On
perfect
both ends.
casting. Susan Harris created the perfect 4 characters for them to play, and the world needed it.
Yes. And can we talk about Rosanne next?
Uh-oh.
This
Very
show.
different.
Well,
Very
I know
different.
she's had her controversies, this one,
And
but
still does.
Exactly.
Pierce Morgan just interviewed her,
Yes.
and yeah, Google that one. Yeah.
but not right now because
No.
you know you were behind the
Lesbian famous-
the Don't Ask, Don't
yes,
Tell
yes, yes.
episode. So
So I have to honor her because her and Tom Arnold did fight to get that episode. We were still in Pride Month, and the network said, we're not going to let you film it. And they said, we are going to film it, and you have to air it, then we're not going to air it. And they said, we will buy back the show, buy time on HBO, put it on if you won't do it. And you know what? It went on the air. It was the #1 episode, and the world woke up the next morning and everything was okay.
And the sun came up the next day.
Yeah, so no big deal.
Business as usual.
Yeah.
Well, I did not know that. Really ahead of its
But
time.
you need to read the book.
Well, exactly. So why did you write this book? What's in there?
I wrote the book because people kept saying, how is you as a man could write all these women? And I really attribute it to my grandmother, my mother, and my sister for making me the man that I am today. I did not know when I started writing it that the last chapter would be my mother's passing 3 years ago. And so it's still very hard to talk about. But I think a lot of people deal with grief, and I thought it was important to talk about that in the book and still work through it with a smile and to remember.
There she is, yes?
Yeah. Oh, now you're really going to get me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How is writing a book different than writing a script?
Impossible. I kept saying, I can't do it. Why am I doing this? It took so long. It really, if it wasn't for COVID and sitting down with a lot of espresso and just say, find a spot. If there were any writers out there, find a spot and just go there every morning at a certain time with sugar-free Red Bull or espresso, whatever you need, and really push through and get to the end, and then rewrite. But it's a very different medium rather than dialogue. It is you're writing prose. And I also went back at NYU. They made me keep journals. So I went through all my journals that I've been keeping since college, which is 5,000 years ago, and taking all the pieces of the shows that I wrote with women, and that's how I started. I pulled them. So I talk about how I felt then, as opposed to the somewhat mature person I am today.
Really?
We got to read this book.
Before we go, you have anything up your sleeves, even though you're wearing short sleeves?
Yes.
Are we going to see another show, perhaps? Maybe?
Many shows. I'm doing a lot of theater. My dream is to come back and do more theater here. I have done one off-Broadway show, but I'm hoping to bring my Gay Men's Golden Girls, Silver Foxes, to New York at some point.
Well, we'll be in the front row.
Yes,
Okay.
we sure will.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for having me.
And the book is available right now. It's called The Girls from Golden to Gilmore, stories about all the wonderful women I've worked with. Get it wherever you get your books.
I love it. Also love that old school television set.
I know.
Well done.
It's a beautiful cover.